I'm here with Mark Schaefer, a globally recognized speaker, educator, business consultant, and author who blogs at Grow, one of the top marketing blogs of the world. He specializes in marketing strategy and social media workshops, and his clients include both startups and global brands such as Adidas, Johnson & Johnson, Dell, Pfizer, the U.S. Air Force, and the U.K. government. Mark is the author of 5 best-selling marketing books: Social Media Explained, Return on Influence, Born to Blog, The Content Code, and The Tao of Twitter, which is the best-selling book on Twitter in the world. Return on Influence was named to the elite top academic titles of the year by the American Library Association, which declared it an essential and pathfinding book. And The Content Code was named one of the top 5 marketing books of 2015 by Inc. magazine, and also happens to be what I consider to be the best book on online marketing that I've ever read.
Yay.
So thank you very much, Mark, for joining us today.
I'm happy to be here. It's a delight.
So you've written many books that I mentioned earlier on this general area. Can you just give us a quick overviews of where they each fit in?
Well, yeah, there's kind of actually a progression of books, I would say. The first, I wrote a book called Social Media Explained, which gives kind of a high level of how social media works. It's not really a how-to book. It doesn't teach you how to set up a Twitter account, but it explains how social media works from a psychological, sociological, and a business standpoint. And it's a book that really lays out in very easy to understand terms what this very complex idea is about. Then I wrote books to kind of help people get into some of these areas, like Born to Blog. There's a relationship between content and social media. Content is really the fuel of what makes everything go. And for most individuals, for most businesses, blogging might make sense, or some sort of written communication. So I wrote the book called Born to Blog. And once you have this content, you need to learn to build an audience and distribute your content. And that's why the Twitter book makes so much sense. Then along the way, I got interested in this idea of how the ability to create content has shifted power from the editor's desk at a newspaper or Wall Street to us. Everybody has the opportunity to create our own niche, create our own influence in the world by publishing. So I wrote this book called Return on Influence. And influence marketing today is really hot. It's important. It's the second fastest growing line item on marketing budgets today. But when I wrote the book, when it first came out in 2012, nobody had even heard of it before. So it was the first book on influence marketing. Now, with everybody publishing and all this content coming onto the web, we have a problem. There's so much competition. How do we stand out? And that's why I wrote the Content Code, because simply publishing today isn't enough. Sure, you have to have great content. As I said, that's the fuel for everything to work. But today, content isn't the finish line. You can't just stop there. In fact, it's the starting line. You have to find ways to get your content to be seen and shared, or you're not going to get any value from your content. So that's why I wrote the Content Code book. And now I'm working on my 6th book. And that kind of is a synthesis of all these ideas. And it focuses on the individual. So we can create content. We can distribute content. We can get our content to move. Now, what does that mean to us? How do we become known in the world? Because increasingly, if you want to be an author or a speaker or successful in your business and attract new clients, there's a benefit to becoming known. And so I've been really obsessing with this idea. Is there a path to become known? And that's what we'll be covering in the upcoming webinar.